Railroad, how many times out are we? Call, call, call. Call, call, call. So there's just, so my dad worked on the SP Railroad. So Jerry worked at the Southern Pacific Railroad. He was a brakeman, a conductor, and an engineer. And so he did all those jobs from the front to the back of the train. He controlled the train, moved the train, took care of it. But on the railroad, what happens is trains come in, trains come in, trains come in and leave, trains come in and leave. Well, and so times out means how many times out are we? Well, we're 3 times out, or we're 17 times out. They call it a times out. What I think that meant was it was that many trains had to come in before it was your turn to take the train and leave with it. So my dad would, he'd call all the time. Hey, how many times out are we? How many times out are we? What's the schedule? Oh, okay, we're 7 times out. Okay, I can probably get 2 hours worth of rest. So he'd rest. Well, anyway, this guy kept calling him. He's one of the other guys on his railroad crew. He kept calling him and calling him. What time? How many times out are we? And how many times out? Because he kept calling the railroad place. Maybe they got mad at him. I have no idea. But anyway, he started calling my dad, and my dad would be trying to get some sleep so he could go work on the railroad. The phone would ring. Hello, hey Jerry, you know how many times we're out? How many times out we are? No, I don't. Bob, I'm sorry, I have no idea. You have to call the office. Boom, click. He'd call again. Call, call, call. How many times out are we now? I have no idea. Pissed my dad off because this guy kept waking him up. I don't know. My dad just says, "Don't call me. Call the flippin' shop." Anyway, finally my dad says, "Bullshit." So he started calling Bob and says, "Hey Bob, how many times out are we? Hey Bob, how many times out are we? Bob, hey, what's going on? How many times out are we? You know how many times out we are?" Just kept bugging him. Finally, Bob didn't call anymore.